Hi everybody, it's Curly Sulan coming at you on this fine day. Happy fall. It is officially fall. Fall is in the air. The crisp air is outside. Oh my god, walking outside and seeing the leaves turning red. I think it is officially time that we can discuss our everyday makeup for fall, which is one of my favorite looks that I do every single year. Not much changes, but I feel like there's always product improvement. There's slight little tweaks and things that we change in our everyday makeup lives to just always make it better and extra hydrated and glowy, and perhaps a little extra deep, dark, and fabulous for fall. So I'm wearing brown to embrace the fall colors today, which makes me feel extra crisp and ready for the season. And I wanted to show you the makeup that I've been wearing every single day. So let's put some makeup on our face, but I'm just going to adjust these as they fall into my eyeballs. And hopefully at the end we'll have perfect, shiny, beautiful, healthy looking hair. But I do want to start with the base because I just need to talk to you about the skincare. As you guys know, I did kind of entirely give up primers. I've just been really embracing a simple skincare routine, trying to make my skin as happy as possible because the better my skin looks, the better my makeup looks in general. And I just felt like focusing more on my skincare had more benefit to my overall look than trying to toss in a million different primers. So every once in a while, I'll use a little glowy base underneath my makeup. I'll use a little shimmery or a bronzy primer, but for the most part, like hydrating primers, I've kind of given up. I have been trying a new face cream over the last week or so, and I just have to say, like, my skin has such a glowy sheen to it, and I just have to apologize to La Roche-Posay because they have been sending me this cream, I'm certain, for years, and every time I get it I'm like, oh, it's not ever out of not believing that it would be a good cream for me, but there's just so many products that I have tried over the years, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it's whatever, I don't know. It's just never something that was on my radar. I don't know what to say. But following my trip with La Roche-Posay in New York, they had stacked me up, obviously, and I'm so grateful to it, but oh my word, these creams, these face creams from La Roche-Posay, I'm sorry, I have been bathing my face in this Toleraine cream and then putting this extra hydrating balm just around my very, very dry areas. And you know it's real when your husband, partner, boyfriend, whoever comments on your skin. I had put these on the first time I came downstairs and Dan was like, wow, babe, you look so hydrated. I'm like, okay, wow, that was it was an instant difference. And I'm so juicy, I look so hydrated, it's crazy. It looks like I put a glowing primer on. I didn't. I literally have this on my face mixed with this, a little bit of sunscreen. Wow, I just couldn't believe it. And I just have to say, it's not often that I'm wowed by a skincare product or a face cream like this, but I was pretty wowed by the difference. Like, it just, I don't know. Anyway, that's the face cream that I've been using in case you guys wanted to know, because I do feel like it's been different. And I feel like so many of you have been telling me for so many years to use the La Roche-Posay creams. Sorry it took me this long, but anyway, that's the skincare that I have on. Let's go in with my base. This is the Sephora Reveal the Real Soft Radiant Skin Tint. I have this one in the shade 100. If you guys missed it, some of you will know that I did buy the lightest shade in this, 100 Fair. At first, I was mixing it, but even in the week since we've been home from our trip, I feel like any little tint that I may have had from the sunshine is gone, and I am just the palest shade. So here I am, 100N, the lightest shade that they offer, which one could argue is not light enough. There are people, I am not the most pale person on the planet, okay? Going into the fall and winter, definitely gonna be embracing my paleness more, and I'm trying, instead of like feeling sad about it, which, you know, there's nothing that brings me more joy than putting on a beautiful layer of tan and having that warm glow. However, when the fall and winter comes and I bring out the fall and winter colors, I feel like I'm actually dressing and doing my makeup in the tones and colors that suit me naturally the best. So I'm happy to embrace the pale skin and do my makeup accordingly. So this is kind of, well, this makeup is going to be reflecting that. So I'm just blending this all in, and it is a little bit lighter. Like, I just feel like it matches my neck the best, and sometimes it'll look a little light and pale next to the natural pigment that's in my skin, but once we add everything else, it all kind of blends together. But I just have to say, this skin tint is so beautiful. Dear Shireen, she really put this on the map, and I have been loving it so much. There's actually a lot of bases that I'm really excited to try, a lot of new end products, but I felt like to be true to my everyday makeup, I just wanted to give this one extra shout before we go into like a deep product testing period, because there's so many new foundations, bases, skin tints, things that I just feel like we need to put to the test. So just know, until then, Oh my gosh, it just soaks into the skin. It looks like nothing. It is so beautiful. I feel like the tone is very nice. It's very, very true to my natural skin tone, and it just looks glorious on the skin. So I'm gonna go straight into concealer. I know we've been doing a lot of underpainting lately. I'm not really gonna do that today. I'm gonna go straight in with concealer. This is the House Labs concealer. I have this in the shade 04 Fair Neutral, which it's a little bit on that pinkier side. I could actually stand to get a lighter shade for like the rest of my face, but that pinkier tone is very nice for my under eyes and the blueness and purple around here. It's just gonna help brighten that up a little bit. So that's fine. And I'll just use a little touch, around the rest of my face because I do have some redness that's always around my mouth no matter what. And because the skin tint is so nice and light and natural, I always like to add in a little bit of extra coverage. But for my everyday makeup, I'm gonna try to keep it as light and natural as possible and just try and brighten up that under eye. So I'm focusing most of the product there. This is blending out beautifully naturally. The House Labs products, oh my, are so nice. Like the House Labs foundation is so gorgeous, but I'm not always reaching for that like really full coverage, extra flawless and fabulous. I feel like for my everyday, depending on my mood obviously, but I always like to use something a little bit lighter, and that skin tint has just been such a delight. So you can just be a little bit more selective with where you place your coverage when you do it this way. But if you just want that all over, even flawless base, you can go for something that's a little bit more full coverage. So I'm just using my brush to blend this in. I find for my everyday, I just like something that I can really easily slap on, no fuss. And this little combo has been such a delight. So I always keep my brushes on hand and I'll kind of just go through and blend it all out as we go, making sure that everything is nice and seamless, but this combination just really soaks into the skin. I'll try and zoom you guys in so you can see, hopefully, but it's just really like, you can see some of the pigment on my skin and that's fine, but overall, like such a good combo. It's so glowy and it's so natural looking. Now, every once in a while, when I'm fully embracing my pale, sometimes the bronzer is a little bit too much. And I know that's crazy, I know, because I love the Makeup by Mario Transforming Sculpting. Every once in a while, I just lose the name. Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. I can do a little bit of this on the cheeks and that's fine. But if I'm really, really embracing my pale, sometimes I find that if I put it on my forehead, it's almost a little bit too much. So what I'm gonna do right now is just place this onto my cheeks, just to give a little bit of sculpting. But I find that sometimes, like I can do the same thing with blush. So it kind of just depends on what skin tone you have, obviously, but also just what look you're going for. I can take a little bit of the excess from my brush and put it onto my forehead, but ultimately I don't feel like it's necessary because I'm gonna go in and do the same thing with blush anyway. And I feel like sometimes the bronzer can just be a little bit too much. Sometimes I don't even feel like I want to use the contour. Just every once in a while, not always the case. But I just did a little touch of that. I'm gonna go straight in with blush. This is the Laura Mercier Provence blush. This is a gorgeous, just really nice, easy, cool tone neutral. It's got a little bit of a cool tone pink in there. And this blush is really gonna hit it home for us because it's so pretty. And this doesn't get enough love in my makeup collection, even though it stays in my daily makeup drawer. I love it. It's one of my favorite products ever. If you want the ultimate natural liquid blush, this is perfect. Between this and also La Piscine, which is slightly more pink, where that one's more neutral. Oh my, they are just perfection. I love them so much. I'm just putting that all over the cheeks and you can see that even without putting the bronzer on, it just adds that natural warm glow to the skin. And I don't feel like I need much more than that, honestly. I'm gonna go back to my foundation brush. I'm not adding any more product, but I'm just gonna dab that around and I feel like that helps to soak it in and make it look the most natural. Now at this point, I'm gonna use my setting spray. I'm gonna spray the Makeup by Mario setting spray and let that soak in and do its thing. And I'm doing this before I apply powder. Sometimes I do it after. I don't always remember to do this step first, but usually once I've done all of my blending, I wanna pour the setting spray on, let it soak in, and I'll do this and then I'll kind of go in and do my eyes or go in and fill in my brows. I'm gonna do the brows while that little layer soaks in. So this is the Victoria Beckham Brow Pencil. I've been loving this so much. This is the shade Taupe, and again, just really embracing the cool tones in my face, and my brow hairs are actually quite truly cool tone. Even if I'm doing my lightest everyday makeup ever, I find that if I fill in my brows and I do a little deep lip, I'm okay. But whenever I skip the brows, I feel a little bit naked. I envy those who have naturally very full brows, and I know that I do. Like, listen, I enjoy my brows, okay? I just always like to add a little bit more fullness here, and I know that's personal preference, but if I take the time to fill this in, I just feel so much more put together. I feel like my face is shaped and framed a little bit more, and I just love the feeling of a complete brow. Take a little fluffy eyeshadow brush and just blend away the excess for the ultimate natural natural filled in brow look. And this is the perfect tip always for those of us who are too lazy to fill in each hair line by line. Gives you that same effect with minimal effort. One product that I got in PR that I've been testing out is the L'Oreal Brow Lamination. This is a lovely little brow product. Love the wand. It's got a slight bend to it and it's a stiff wand, so you can really press it into your brow hairs. It's great. It's a beautiful brow gel. I was very impressed with it. I've been using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze, but it's goopy. It's expired. It has gotten to its point. We've used it up. And this came at the perfect time. It's a little bit more slick than I've been doing lately, but I also never say no to a light, fluffy, feathery brow. So now that the brow gel is in, I'm gonna go in and set my face with powder. I've been trying out the Tower 28 Get Set Pink powder, which is a pressed powder. I find that it can be a little bit, just slightly more drying than my loose powder that I love to use. But when I'm in a pinch and I don't feel like getting all messy and accidentally getting my loose powder everywhere, which typically happens when I'm doing my makeup in a rush, having a pressed powder is nice, and then you also don't have to think about it. I can toss it into my bag and take it to go if I am going out and about. And I don't feel particularly like obsessed. I'm not in love with this powder. It does its job well. Like, I put it on and it sets in my makeup and it mattifies a little bit without making it look too dry or taking away too much glow. I do find that the Makeup by Mario setting powder just has that much more intense blurring effect. It just kind of looks a little bit more perfected than this one. This one I'm like, okay, my makeup looks set in. It doesn't have that like extra little magical fairy dust speck, if that makes sense. But it's good. I would say it's a like, not a love. Now for my eyes, for every day, keeping it super simple, sometimes I will go without mascara, sometimes I will add a little bit of mascara. I typically always use a brown mascara. I've been loving so much the Lancome Hypnose mascara in the shade brown. This is so pretty for every day. Every once in a while, I will add a little bit of shadow, or I'll do a little bit of an eye tint, a pencil. There's so many different options. I tend to stick to the cool tone browns, so I have the Armani 22M, which is a little bit of a taupey brown, the Laura Mercier Cocoa pencil, which is a classic, really nice, cool toned brown. And then sometimes I'll just go in with a little bit of a powder. This is the Victoria Beckham Signature Eyeshadow Palette. I love the cool tones in here. And I might just do a little bit of a faux wing. I feel like that's what I'm in the mood for today. So I'm just gonna go in and take a little bit of this light brown shade. And I'll just use this right on the edge of my eye just to create a little lift. I typically only take this to the halfway point of my eye, and then I flick it out. Halfway point, flick it out. And I often do this quite messily. And that's because I take a brush after and blend away a lot of the product just to give it that extra soft, natural look. Because then when you put the mascara on, you almost have to do a double take. You're like, is there something on my eyes? It's just like the faintest, softest little wing that just gives a little baby lift. It makes you look more awake, but it's not like intense, like a thick liner. So I always love to do that with shadow. One of my favorite makeup hacks of all time. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of the pale shade. I'm just gonna use that right on the inner corners. So I'm just taking that same pencil, and I'm just gonna use this to set in any of the concealer or the skin tint that was left over on the eyelid, just so there's no creasing. And it will in turn have a little bit of a brightening effect as well. Nothing too crazy. And then we'll go in with our mascara. This mascara has pretty much gotten me back into the phase of wearing mascara because I was not wearing mascara for my everyday so often. And the biggest reason for that is because I hate taking mascara off at the end of the night. Usually, if I have a mascara that I love the look of that's super thick and volumizing, it's such a pain in the ass to take off at the end of the night. I love that this is like so volumizing and fluffy on my lashes, but it's so easy to remove. And that just makes me excited to wear it because I'm like, oh, I get all the joys of wearing mascara. It's not flaking, it's completely transfer proof, and it's easy to take off at the end of the night. So that's why I'm like, I'm back on this train. Lancome has like brought me back to the fold of mascara, and it's so beautiful. Now moving on to the lips. Every day is different, really. I have a few faves that I often rotate throughout my everyday fall makeup, but for the most part, I love to pack a punch with a deep lip. I always start with a lip liner. This is one that's actually new in from Dior. This is the 303 Greige Attitude. And I love to use a cool tone pencil because I find it just complements the cool berry tones so nicely. And this is such a beautiful creamy pencil. I feel like I don't ever really reach for the Dior lip pencils. I know I've done like full faces of Dior where I've used them in the past, but I don't necessarily think to reach for them. And they are so pretty. The formula is so nice. I often forget the little Makeup by Ariel trick where he takes an eyeshadow brush and uses that to blend out his lip products. He'll do that with a lip liner and then apply a lipstick in the center with an eyeshadow brush as well. I love that tip. It just gives it the softest blurred finish. Like, that is such a pretty color. Oh, Dior really nailed it with that lip liner. It is filling a void, let's just say that. Then one of my most beloved products of all time, Victoria Beckham Bitten Lip Tints. I was going between the two, Bisou and Cherie, for a long time. I have ultimately landed on the fact that Bisou is my favorite, and it's because it's the more cool toned of the two. Cherie is a little bit warmer, it's that cherry undertone. Bisou is that more like blackberry undertone, and I just prefer it. And this has been the lip stain that I just wear every single day. It's so pretty. It just truly leaves you with that bitten, wine-stained look on your lips all day long, and I just think the color of this is perfection. It can't be beat. Look at my lips. When I put that on, I feel like it just breathed life into my entire face, and that's why I feel like I can keep the rest of my face quite light when I put something like this on. I will sometimes, even if I'm wearing no makeup whatsoever, I will put this on and I'm like, oh, I feel alive again. I don't know what it does. If this is like the definition of my colors being done, like this is my color. This and this little brown, like these cool tones, I'm all on board. Stunning, beautiful, give me 14 more of them. Now, as a last step, if I wanted to add even more to this lip, because this can get a little bit drying. Okay, so every once in a while I do like to put a little gloss on top. The Summer Fridays Rosewood Nights Lip Oil is such a beautiful tone complement to this stain in particular. I feel like the undertones are just the same. It's like that same shade in lip oil form. So I do love to use this on top. It's such a pretty combination. But again, there are many similar shades and lip products that I love. I just feel like this in particular just complements it so nicely and adds that juicy finish to the lips. Now, if I'm looking at this makeup and I feel like I'm missing a little something something, then I will go in with a highlighter. This is the Westman Atelier Lit Up Highlight Stick. I love this one because it's very wet looking. It's very, very juicy, and there's a slight little pink tone to it, so it gives you that healthy glow. And sometimes I'll go in and add a little bit more blush. Maybe I'll add a deeper blush, something like my Charlotte Tilbury Color of Passions Lip and Cheek Glow if I want a little extra punch. But I think if I just want my natural skin to really live and do its thing and let the lip have its moment, then I'll do something like this. Just adding a juicy highlighter kind of adds that lived-in extra glow on the cheeks without needing to add any more color to the face. You know what I mean? I feel like that just did a lot for the cheek there. We are glowing. I'm gonna do a final layer of the setting spray. Let that soak in. And that, my friends, is the finished makeup look. This has been my go-to everyday makeup for fall, really embracing the cool fall tones, embracing my pale skin, and adding as much glow into our face as possible. While it just still feels light, a makeup look like this just lasts so well throughout the day. Doesn't make you feel too heavy. I still feel like myself, but I've got a little bit of an autumn kick with the lip. We're embracing that dark berry, and we are glowing all day long, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think of my new and improved, updated everyday makeup for fall? Would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the look. Please let me know any of your favorite products that you use every day, any of the products that you've switched up for fall. Thank you so much for being here and for watching as always, and I will see you all very, very soon for a new video. Bye!